If I got married again during the summer, this is what I would wear. Hello everyone, I am Val and welcome back to my channel. This video is actually taken as an idea from Morgan Turner. I'm not gonna hide this fact. And also it was based on the fact that last week I did a bridal makeup for a wonderful bride. She was absolutely stunning looking and I just wanted to see how I would do the makeup right now because my wedding was in the winter. It was absolutely different times and different conditions, and so I also changed quite a bit, and I want to kind of go through what I would do if it was a wedding again, just like I did for the bride last week. My wedding was in February last year actually, and since then I've tried many things and I understood that the preference changed. Also, I'm into skin looking like skin and not being a full coverage foundation instead of your actual skin. So I'm more into natural looks, to enhancing the features that you already have, maybe hiding a couple of pimples but not overboarding everything, making a blank canvas. And that is my goal in every makeup I do, on models, on clients, on myself as well. So this is what it's gonna be based on. This is gonna be a talkative video with a bit of splashes of makeup that I did, like this one. And yeah, let's dive in. First thing you need to think of is actually preparations. You don't want to have an experimental breakout or something when you are trying new skincare, for example, and you just get into the state of your skin not being okay with it. So the preparations are important in this case, and I've started to test out a couple of things approximately a month before the wedding day, and I would say that's a bit too little of a time. I would take probably a couple months before to test out things, to find out what I actually need. Like, it's about skincare, it's about what your skin would prefer, what it's not gonna get its reaction on, and overall all of that jazz. For me personally, the two best things in skincare that I found were the GlamGlow things. So this is Brightmud. It's a peeling with acids, and this is the Thirstymud. So my skin is dry, I needed additional hydration, but at the same time I have the underlying pimples. So they are not prominent on your skin like an acne, they are buried inside and sometimes don't want to come out. So this thing is made to basically take them out of your skin, and the Thirstymud is a good moisturizing preparation that I really like. And of course, to exclude the allergic reaction, I used both of them in different times. Acids, not every acid is gonna work with the other acid, so you gotta be careful about that. That's why I'm saying a couple months before is the better timing than right in the day or a week prior. So you need to do your research, you need to get prepared, all of that stuff, and really find out what works for you in such a case. And of course, you gotta remember that after each use of acids, generally if you're using any acids, you have to use a sunscreen religiously. It's one of these things that you cannot skip, and you also have to choose your sunscreen wisely. Test it out with different parameters, with different makeups to understand how it works. For example, the Glow Recipe sunscreen actually made my makeup separate. But this little guy, it's the La Roche-Posay Athelius 50 plus UV. It was actually great. It does not make my makeup separate, so I'm using this one. If you're testing and using different acids, maybe it's one of the best options to actually have them in calendar. I don't think you should mix different acids on the same day. I'm not a skincare expert, so I cannot tell exactly, but that's what I do and what worked for me, because lately hyaluronic acids caused a lot of breakouts, and my skin also decided to break up with niacinamide, and because of that I have to be more careful, and I would recommend everybody to be more careful, maybe getting a schedule, calendar or something where you track the usage of that stuff. I think it's really a good thing to do, especially before your wedding. Then we're moving to the moisturizers, face creams, all of that. Same story as with face masks and acids that you're using. You have to keep track of things that you are using and the things that are making or breaking it, basically. So for me, for example, this Plum Plum from Glow Recipe again was not working fine, and I had to stop using it. At the same time, I tried Charlotte Tilbury Magic creams. This is eyes and face creams, and they worked wonderfully, especially because these are more heavy hydrating creams, and my wedding was in winter, so I would have used that anyway, and I really loved it. Right now, because it's summer, maybe your skin is not as dry and dehydrated as mine and you want something lighter, I would probably recommend something in the direction of Bobbi Brown. This is also hydrating eye cream and hydrating face cream. They are more lightweight, they provide a lot of moisture to the skin, so I really like this in summer. And face base from Bobbi Brown, also good. I think skincare and the base products that you are buying, that you are trying, are one of the most important, because it's your base, it's your staple piece. It's something that worth the splurge, and you should not like bring yourself down buying something very cheap. After all the preparations are done, first things I do is actually eyes rather than the foundation and other stuff. So for my actual wedding, I was using this palette. This is a Glam face palette from Natasha Denona, and it's in a light medium, not in a dark, and I used pretty much the whole palette for my look. Right now I'm wearing mini Starlette, which is very similar to this one as well, but this one is more brown in colors, that one is more purple in colors. Also mini Zendo is quite similar, and you just have to be aware of the undertones of your skin so that it can look best. For example, if you're cool toned, then cool toned browns and purples maybe would look better. If you are warm, you can go full glam like this one. Also, I can recommend, in terms of the bridal makeup, the Pillow Talk palette from Charlotte Tilbury. I think majority of Charlotte or Natasha palettes are actually a good choice for that. You can also try Pat McGrath, very good stuff. I also used Natasha Denona eyeshadow primer, which was totally fine. It prepares your eye area, it prepares you basically for wearing them whole day, and I think it's a good idea to have a good primer. If you have a trusted one, then use that. As I said, the wedding is not a time for experiments, it's for the time to look your best in life. And that is why just the stuff that you're trusting in, if you're doing your own makeup, the stuff you're trusting in will be one of the best choices. If you're hiring a makeup artist, your testing and your preparations may tell the makeup artist what is the best option for your skin specifically. I always ask my clients if they have any allergic reactions, if they have any disliking of the smell or something like that. So I try to accommodate this information into the makeup and prepare the skin and just be more versatile and more specific to the person, because it's important for them. For the lashes on the wedding day, as we are talking about the eye area in general, I prefer to use individuals. They are more comfortable to use, and if you're not used to wearing the false lashes in your everyday life, or you're not wearing them at all, then I think individuals are a better choice, because they are more lightweight and you can position just few of them rather than having the full strip. Half a strip also good, but sometimes they're not as flexible, you have to work through that. So this is just an easy peasy way to get this stuff done. I prefer to have 8, 10 and 12 in millimeters. So the 8 ones are going into the inner corner, the 10 will be in the center, and the longest one, 12, will be on the outer edge, so it creates like this very nice effect, which I enjoy in majority of my looks, and I think it also looks great for majority of the people I work with. For the liners and mascara, I actually did wear black liner on my wedding day, and it was a MAC brush stroke, and on top I put a bit of NYX Epic ink. Today I would have a different choice. First of all, it's the Eyeko Black Magic. This is one of the best things I've tried in terms of the liner. For myself, I'm not sure if everybody is gonna like it. So my friend whom I recommended one did not really like it, because she has more hooded eyes and it just stamps a bit more on her. So that was not the case, and especially for hot weather. For hot weather, I would go with Danessa Myricks Colorfix. This stuff is insane. I tried a couple of them and I fell in love Also, majority of liquid liners will actually be quite glossy, but these things, these are her Colorfix mattes, they dry down really matte and they are incredibly sturdy. So I will get the black one soon, and the one that I tried already are these, exposed and chocolate. Yeah, it's the thing that I would go for, because it's thick but buildable, it's very pigmented, it dries in pretty much seconds and it stays there where you put it. It's amazing. This is not an ad, I just bought it and I fell in love, so I bought more. I kind of have this obsessive personality. If I really like something, I would buy it in many other colors and just use every day until I find something better, and then I will buy that in different colors and use that every day. For mascaras, I prefer to use 2 mascaras on the eyes because it makes my life a bit easier and because they also sometimes have different effects. So for the first layer, I would go with MaxFactor 2000 Calorie Mascara. I really like the wand in this one, and it's a black brown, so it's more of a preparation kind of tint for the lashes at first, and the second one will be more of a something like Rollerlash, curling, lifting. And I would also recommend to opt out for waterproof one or tubing at least, because it's a wedding day, you're gonna cry. Don't lie to yourself that you're not going to. And get a waterproof mascara for yourself for that case. Now we are done with our eyes and we can move on into the rest of the face. And the first step would be, again, the primer. It's a very controversial topic. Most of the times you don't really need primer, especially if you had a good skincare, good preparations and stuff like that. But for such a day, I would choose something like an inner glow kind of. So this is MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance in pink. I have pink undertone, they have also this in yellow. So this kind of stuff I think is really good. The other option would be the Hollywood Flawless Filter. It's not precisely a primer, but this product is adding up that glow that you see in Victoria's Secret models. And I also heard that Catrice released a dupe for this one, and if you want to know if they're actually a dupe, then let me know in the comments. Now we prepared our face and we can move on to the color correction. It's not always needed as well, but for me personally it is really important. So my first choice is Bye Bye Undereye. This concealer is full coverage, anti-aging and waterproof, which is important. We don't want our under eyes to run down everywhere when we cry in an emotional moment. So this would be my first choice before I actually found out the Nudes. Nudes is also from Danessa Myricks. This is waterproof liquid pigment. This stuff is insane. I'm wearing it today as well. It covers up anything that I found. Like, you have a bit of redness, it's covered. You have a bit of under eye circles, it's covered. You don't need a separate corrector. You can just mix up your skin tone in this ones and you get a perfect base. It also does not smudge and it does not get into the fine lines, which I think is really important. So yeah, I would use these first as the base. So either Bye Bye Undereye or the Colorfix. These are just, I cannot imagine my life without them now. And the next is foundation or a second concealer. So I prefer to have more concealers on me rather than foundations, because I can spot conceal and just distribute to have a skin-like look, which I adore absolutely, and foundations sometimes don't give me that same look. Nevertheless, for my own wedding day, I was wearing this Tarte concealer. You see how much I've used already from this one, but it's summer, I stopped the foundations at all. And this guy is good for dry skin. So if you are into tart shaped tape kind of stuff, then it's more for oily to normal skin. This is for more dry skin, and I really enjoy this guy. The other option would be the Charlotte Beautiful Skin foundation, just a very teeny tiny amount. I'm not sure if she has cool in very light colors. I think the third cool is the only one I have seen. But for me it's fine, and a very small amount is also fine. That would be the foundation. My choice of concealer as the second instead of the foundation is actually Nars Vanilla in Soft Matte Concealer. So this is great. It's one of the best textures that I've tried, but it does not self-set. So the Bye Bye Undereye and the Danessa Myricks will set and you cannot smudge it. This one will not set. You have to apply a setting powder or something like a setting spray on top. So yeah, but this is precisely my skin tone and I enjoy this little guy a lot. Almost finished this one. The other options that I use for clients, because these are my personal things and I don't want to have like 10 tubes of foundation with me, I use RCMA and Makeup Forever palette together with their mixer. On itself, the creams are a bit too heavy when you mix it with the beauty mixer, with the foundation mixer from RCMA or Inglot Duraline, then you get a sheerer coverage, so more sheer coverage, and it's more blendable. It gets into the skin just better. So that's what other options I would use for a client, and I actually used it on the bride last week. For the contouring and blushing options, I on my wedding was wearing this Charlotte Tilbury Nude Gasm Face palette, and I prefer this one to Film Star Bronze and Glow because this is matte and the Film Star Bronze and Glow is satin. If you don't want an extra satin, extra shiny things on yourself, then I think the Nude Gasm palette would be better. Also, having two shades in here that are darker and lighter are really good options. So the highlighter and blush are also pretty, but this is a bit too much of a shine to me, so I was not really using the blush from here, and highlighter too. What I use instead was the same as I have today on my cheeks, and it's Natasha Denona Rose Cheek Duo. This is a small guy and it's cheaper than the bigger guys, and it looks like this. So it's a cream blush and highlighter that is a bit of a weird texture, but it's pretty, it's quite natural looking, and yeah, I think I enjoy it and I use it pretty much every day when I wear makeup, so I would go for this one for the wedding as well. On the other hand, highlighters and blushes that I use for wedding and for my models are usually these guys. These are Dior face palettes. This is 01 and this is 04. So these two are good enough for me, and I use them as both the blush here and the highlighters. So these are another options that I just recommend to check out. For the cream contour, I cannot tell much right now. The one from the Makeup Forever palette is actually a bit too warm. It's more of a bronzer than a contour. I haven't tried Anastasia Fawn, which I really wanted to buy, but probably have to wait. For the blush that is not cream, I would probably opt out for something like this. This is Nars, and this is Zen. Zen is very universal color, as I think it also can work as a bit of a bronzer for very light skin tones, and it's not orange, which I really like with this guy, and you can use it at both blush and contour. So something like this, or their infamous of course Orgasm blush is the other option to think of as a powder. Now let's move on to the powders. Actually, for me, I don't use powders, so I don't use foundations, I don't use powders on myself because I look already like all the water has been sucked out of me. So I need more moisture. That's why creams are my best friends. And for the clients, I may use something like an Hourglass. So this is very nice powder, and they are generally, this is translucent setting powder, so this is a good option, especially for oily skin. This is a great one. Then I also may use MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and it's a light one, so I used it on myself a couple times when I was not so dry. And of course Charlotte Tilbury has a very nice powder, which you can also use Laura Mercier. There are plenty of really good powders. I bet Huda Beauty is also good in this regard, but I never tried and I don't own any of her powders, so in this situation I'm out. But yeah, these are the guys that I can recommend. To merge your layers together and mix all of the things that you have on your face. For melting together layers, I prefer Fix Plus. There are other fixing sprays, but I just enjoy these, and yeah, I would continue using them in any occasion. Now we talked about fixing. Now one of the last bits of information that I wanted to share. Lipstick and lip liners. I think that Charlotte Tilbury is a very nice one. I'm wearing it today, and her lip liners are actually having really nice staying power, and MAC other liners that I would go for. But NYX and Essence also have very nice lip liners. A majority of things like that, they're produced somewhere in Czech Republic, and it could be the same, absolutely same factory for some of these things. So you may choose. For the lip pencils, I think it's not that important. For lipsticks as well, majority of lipsticks can be mixed together with Duraline, and it creates a more durable, obviously, texture, structure. So for the colors themselves, I went on my wedding day with MAC matte lipstick in Mehr. It means more in German. And I really loved this color. It was absolutely beautiful on pictures and in real life. The other option I would have gone for is my favorite formula, Love Me lipstick, and this one is called As If I Care. This would be the two versions. Other one is Pillow Talk. It's a bit too orange on me, and I went for more pinkish tones for my wedding day, but it's still good options, still good stuff. And I'm taking a bit of lipstick from the palette that I have and bringing it into the little jar for the bride and mixed with Duraline so she can later apply it. What I really like about MAC lipsticks is that they don't just get out patchy from your lips, they just dissolve gradually. And yeah, mixing it with Duraline actually makes it last a bit longer, especially on the outer edges, but that's, I think, every lipstick actually lasts longer on the outer edge. And it's very good to have a bit with you. If you cannot have a tube, then it's good to have a little jar with you where the lipstick is, a bit of it at least, so you can reapply and just be more fresh again. Last in my list and scenario, actually setting spray. I'm more of a classic person here. I went with Airbrush Flawless by Charlotte Tilbury. Almost used up this bottle. And this one is good setting spray. The difference between fixing spray and setting spray is that this melts the layers together. If you need to look less powdery, then this is the choice. If you want to refresh yourself and the makeup, this is your choice. If you want to make it smudge proof, you have to go for something like a setting spray. So not every setting spray is actually smudge proof, so you gotta test out a couple of things, but this one worked good for me. The other two options are actually All Nighter from Urban Decay. This one also works well. I have tested it out on different occasions on the other wedding that I've been on in the summer, and it worked actually pretty good. And another one that came out not so long ago, it's a Fix Plus Stay Over. The problem with these ones is that the longer you stay with them, the longer you don't use them, then you will have problems with the spritz, so with the pump, it will start to spit on you. You have to be careful with this one, but with Charlotte Tilbury I never had any of these problems. And if you are on a tighter budget, you can just use mini of All Nighter or mini of Airbrush Flawless. They are not as expensive as the bigger versions, so you can save a bit in these regards. Try minis. It would still last longer than one day and you don't lose that much. And in any case, for example, you want to try a very expensive mascara, you can use mini for that. And for some of them, they are available in minis on other things as well. So Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream has a mini. I believe Bobbi Brown has a mini. If you want to try it out, to test it for yourself, this is a good option. And if you really like that, then you can get a bigger one or a refill. Refill is also a wonderful thing. You don't have to buy the whole bottle, you can just buy a refill of it. Just like with the Plum, you actually can take it out and refill it. This will be the refill. You can use it separately. Just leave the protection piece on and you're good to go. Same with a lot of actually higher end creams like Charlotte Tilbury. So yeah, majority of high-end creams are refillable. You can just buy a refill. It's a bit cheaper, but you don't get the bottle itself. You don't spend the money on the bottle then. And that is pretty much it. I think I don't really have anything else big to add. And I hope you learned something today. Hope it was a useful information. And generally, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It's very important for my channel and for me personally. And I would love to see more people commenting. If I forgot something, also just let me know. Because maybe I skipped some of the parts that I did not consider that important. So, but it may be important for you and you may want to know something. So yeah, just let me know if I skipped something you thought is needed here. Thank you so much for watching. That was a very generous speaking time for me and I enjoyed it a lot, and thank you once again. Yeah, have a good week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.